Now, as the fintech gains momentum across the financial spectrum in East Africa, Chapeo, which offers users access to instant loans and bill payments options, is mulling an entry in Rwanda. Joining me now to better expound on the entry is Jasper Cheng, CEO of Chapeo. Many thanks for making time to speak to us, Jasper. Just walk us through this, the development. Is this a feasible economy for you to actually be entering when it comes to that front?
Absolutely. Thanks, Arnold. I really appreciate it. So Rwanda has had a great development so far over the past years. And if you look at Chapeo and the market that is actually looking at is a market that is available in Kigali and Rwanda as a whole. We are looking at financial inclusion, which I think there's a lot more to do in that space within this market.
Right. One of the things that is very dear to me has to be security. Just the other day we're going on about Apple. Amazon also has had a few scares. Yahoo, close to 400 accounts being hacked. And what are you doing on that front to make sure that there's end-to-end security and against all this cyber terrorism that is becoming very popular?
Well, I appreciate there's quite a lot in terms of the security that we keep on monitoring and ensuring that guys don't really hit us. Of course, I'll tell you, and as you noted, is that every time you try and close out the holes, guys are trying to run ahead. So what we do is that we try to be as much ahead of the time. So in terms of security, we've got two levels. We've got the business level of security, and then we've got the technical level, where business level is in terms of what are the kind of exposures that you can have if there's an intrusion. So that's well taken care of, right? And there are enough triggers for that. Now, coming to the technical bit of it, we've got about 6 to 7 basic layers, which then have multiple layers in between. Right. At the point of the application level, there are several layers that then would be able to make it very hard to get someone intruded unless they have the consent of the user. And then at that point, then on the next level, we've got the traffic and the transport layers, right, which then has multiple layers also under it, with quite a couple of firewalls, which then noting certain behaviors, right, then would trigger a lock. Then we've got the access to the backend, which then also has several other layers. And at the end of the day, we still have at the terminal level where then access to money is available. You notice that looking at the micro bit of it, then it would really deter.
Definitely.
much, yeah.
What you're saying is this is a haystack in the middle of a haystack. Yes. But being a wannabe programmer myself, I could go on about SQL and PHP, C#. But just walk me through the fact that many East African programmers and developers are now going to, let's say, India, where many of these programs can be developed for, well, a third the price. Where is your app developed?
Well, I appreciate that as well, Arnold. And I'll tell you for sure, right now, and to the surprise of many, and this is what I really love, the fact that Chapeo was developed by Africans within this particular continent at a very good rate, and these guys are available. So if any of the guys around the continent would like to have something made locally for the local market, then we've got a team, gebea.com. You go in there and you're able to actually get access to extremely talented young men and women who actually do this very fantastic job. In fact, I've gotten several auditors to audit the system, and to the surprise of all these guys, they can't believe that this was done in Africa, and it's super work. And you look at the architecture, you look at the work, you look at the user experience, it's fantastic.
Right. Let's talk about the East African community. There's a lot of political will, at least in the past 5 years, that we are seeing, arguably even before that. But how hard is it to cover all the bases when it comes to interoperability for an app to be working in Nairobi in Kenya, maybe get it from Safaricom and put it on MTN Rwanda here and Tigo, and it's working perfectly. How hard is that? That
should take at most a week, including the test, because the technical guys are here. The team is, the engineers are within the continent, and it's all a question of, in fact, the entire the entire package just comes into Kigali as it is. The only changes that we will do is access to the data from the government for purposes of verification. And then we've got also where we're talking about what would be the most preferred language, or should we put French?
Right.
Should we put English and Rwanda as an option? Or so that would just be it. But the architecture, everything, and this is a fantastic work that the team within, and we've got individuals from virtually all the countries in Africa.
Jasper, very briefly before I let you go, low internet penetration. You're coming from Kenya, which has over 40% internet penetration. You're bringing the same app to Rwanda, which is less than 10% internet penetration. How are you going to counter that? Very briefly.
Thanks for that question. Now, you notice that at the back end, nothing really changes. Because Chapeo will be able to support the internet connectivity to whichever other providers for termination purposes. Now, on the user end, where every other person around Kigali or within the entire Rwanda would be able to access this through USSD or through a message, which doesn't need
a traditional
internet.
SMS.
Yes, and that would still be able to get you your instructions to the Chapeo system, which then would be fully, communicating with the rest of the, networks and get you wherever you want.
Very smart system, Jasper. I'm afraid that's all the time that we did have.